Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. It is that time of the week again to see what cards are trending up. A lot to talk about. Phyrexia All-Be-One just came out, of course, and that set is impacting a number of cards in the video today, but there's other things happening too in the market. Now, we're not going to talk about those new cards in particular today since they just came out. We don't have a baseline yet to look at for pricing, but next week, as long as everything settles in, we'll start adding those into the videos. Our threshold, as usual, this week is $2. We're not going to talk about a card unless it's moving up at least $2. And quickly, before we get started, a couple things. I do want to say thank you to one of the viewers. Whip gave another generous super thanks for last week's video. Thank you, Whip. That does help a lot. Now, those super thanks tips, they're never expected, but they're always appreciated. You can click on super thanks down below if you'd like to tip the channel. It does help us a lot. But just watching the videos, leaving a like, a comment, subscribing, telling people about the channel, that all helps tremendously as well. But again, I do want to say thank you to Whip. And one other thing, if you go to FlipsideGaming.com, you can use the Heroes promo code to save 10% on orders over $10. Currently, you can order Phyrexia All-Be-One products there. They do have the complete edition bundles in stock right now. I know a lot of people have been looking for those. And remember, if your order's over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. Also, whenever you use the Heroes promo code, it does support the channel, which is always appreciated. So thank you. And without any further ado, let's get into it. Yet again this week, we do not have a standard legal spotlight. Again, everything is very quiet and standard. People want to see how this new set is going to affect the format. But we do have some Pioneer cards moving. Let's take a look. Darksteel Forge from Magic 2014. This goes up $2.12 this week to $42.48. The Plane Chase copy of this is moving down some this week, but this one's still moving up, as you can see. This really took off in Commander with the release of the Brothers' War, but it's still hot now because of the artifact interactions in Phyrexia All-Be-One. It is getting additional Commander play now and builds around a couple new cards. Gra's Unstoppable Juggernaut from the main set, and Chisgoria Forge Tyrant, which is one of the Eternal Legal cards. In fact, Darksteel Forge was in one of those builds on an episode of Game Nights on the Command Zone podcast this week. Could have brought a little more attention to it. Next, we have Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. This is the one from the list that goes up $2.47 this week to $41.92, and this is in the very popular Nykthos Ramp Pioneer decks. It's also in another deck that gets a lot of play in the format, Selesnya Angels, among others. Plus, you see this in a bunch of Commander decks, including a new build around a card from Phyrexia All-Be-One, Elish Norn Mother of Machines. And the last card in this section is Vorinclex Monstrous Raider from Kaldheim. It goes up $6.35 this week to $61.32. Now, this creature is one of the borderless concept Praetor cards that can be found in Phyrexia All-Be-One set draft and collector boosters, so keep that in mind, but it is a highly played commander card, and many times you do see this used as a commander. Commonly, though, it's also found in Atraxa Praetor's voice decks, and those are seeing a lot of play now with the support they're getting from Phyrexia All-Be-One. That set is brought as poison counters, oil counters, the return of Proliferate, and new planeswalkers, which ultimately are the reason this card's moving the way it is right now. And that takes us to the Modern Legal Spotlight, where we see the Modern Legal cards moving up the most this week. First, we have Cloudstone Curio from Ravnica City of Guilds. It goes up $2.04 this week to $52.08. This does get some Commander play in a variety of builds, since it can be a decent combo enabler. I am also seeing this in some Golgari Elves decks now in Modern. Gemstone Caverns, the one from the list, goes up $2.21 this week to $47.30. This continues to see more Modern play. It's in Crashing Footfalls and much more there. It is also getting a little legacy play now too, in Orzhov Initiative, for example, and it's in a variety of Commander builds as well. Contagion Engine, now this is the one from the list, although the Scars of Meriden one just missed the video. This one's going up $2.26 this week to $13.76. It is a solid Commander card and combo enabler in several builds like Atraxa Praetor's Voice again. This is also showing up in a ton of new Commander decks around cards from Phyrexia All-Be-One, Azuri Stalker of Spheres, Skrelv Defector Might, Tekuthal Inquiry Dominus, and Venser Corpse Puppet. Additionally, this is a good upgrade to the Corrupting Influence Commander deck, and I have seen this in fresh builds around the front-facing Commander from there as well, Ixal Scion of Atraxa. In fact, this was in an Ixal build as well as an Azuri Stalker of Spheres build on the Game Nights episode I mentioned a moment ago. Ultimately, though, this is another card being pushed by the mechanics of Phyrexia All-Be-One. Endurance is next. It's up $2.99 to $40.96. It gets a lot of play in many decks in a number of formats. This is a huge modern card. It's in Yawgmoth, Crashing Footfalls, and much more. Big legacy card too. You see this in Elves as well as other decks in that format. Even gets vintage play at times. You see this in Squee, Hollowvine, and a few other decks. And yes, it is found in a variety of commander builds as well. Painter Servant from Shadowmoor up $306 to $80. Legacy Painter sees a good amount of play still in the format. This also appears in some commander builds, usually with Grindstone. Elish Norn Grand Cenobite. This is the one from Mystery Booster, this time up $363 to $32.97. This is a fairly popular commander, and in the 99 of many builds, including a Traxapraetor's Voice. As you may have guessed, this is showing up in new commander builds around cards from Phyrexia All-Be-One as well. Elish Norn Mother of Machines, and Mondrak Glory Dominus. On top of that, this was mentioned on the Command Zone podcast this week as a card you might want in both of those builds, and it was in 2 builds in that Game Nights episode. Ixhel again, and Urtet Remnant of Memnarch. Ragavan Nimble Pilfer. This is up $379 this week to $83.42, and this is bouncing back and then some after some recent losses. Gets a ton of modern play in Murktide Region and much more there. Vintage, you see this in Jeskai Control and Temur Tempo. It's also a fairly popular commander and in the 99 of a number of builds, including Kibo Uktabi Prince. Skithiryx the Blight Dragon. Double Masters is up $226 this week to $30. The copy from the list is up $343 to $29.94. And the Scars of Meriden version is up $409 to $28.03. This gets some play as a commander, but it's also in the 99 of many decks, including a Traxapraetor's Voice again. It is also a good upgrade to the Corrupting Influence commander deck, and I have seen this in fresh builds around Ixhel Scion of Atraxa there as well. In fact, this is another card in that Ixhel build that was on Game Nights this week. Plus, it was mentioned on the Command Zone podcast recently as a card you might want to play in a build around one of the Phyrexia All-Be-One Jumpstart cards, Kinzu of the Bleak Coven. And out in the field, I have seen this in commander decks around a card from the main set, Karumonix the Rat King. Overall, another card being pushed pretty heavily because of Phyrexia All-Be-One. And here come the Mirror. Mirror Superion from New Phyrexia goes up $478 this week to $882. This is getting pushed due to the return of Mirror in Phyrexia All-Be-One. It is found in commander builds around a new Eternal Legal Legendary Mirror, Urtet Remnant of Memnarch. And the last card in this section has the same story, really. This is Mirror Matrix that goes up $742 this week to $27.89. You do see this in Urtet builds now in Commander, and to a lesser degree, I have seen this in builds around a card from the Phyrexia All-Be-One main set 2, Gra's Unstoppable Juggernaut. And it is time for our salute to all Eternal formats, but mostly Commander, in our Eternal Spotlight. Obviously, all the cards in this section aren't going to be legal in all Eternal formats, but none of these cards are legal in Standard, Pioneer, or Modern. First, we have Jet Medallion from Commander 2014. It goes up $212 this week to $39.98. This was recently reprinted in the Post Malone Secret Lair, but this copy's still creeping up. It's in several mono-black commander decks, including new ones around cards from Phyrexia All-Be-One, Karumonix the Rat King, and Drivnod Carnage Dominus. AC Tyrant of Gyre Strait goes up $220 to $17.85. This is from the Commander Legends Reap the Tide commander deck, and it only comes in foil. It's a popular commander and in the 99 of a number of builds, including Kinesos Priest of Thassa. Razorclaw Bear, this is up $236 this week to $61.67. The card's yet to be reprinted, and you do see this in some Ayula Queen Among Bears commander builds. Miri Weatherlight Duelist from Commander 2017. This only comes in foil. It goes up $256 to $26.15. Good commander, and in the 99 of some decks too, like Rin and Siri Inseparable. Ancient Tomb from Ultimate Masters this time. It's up $282 to $78.81. Big mana-based card in Legacy and Vintage, and it's found in the Mono-White Initiative builds in both of those formats. Also gets a lot of commander play in various decks there, including a Traxapraetor's Voice, and the new Elish Norn Mother of Machines. Plus, this was in the mana base of that Ixhel deck on Game Nights this week, too. Plateau from Revise. This one is bouncing back after a drop last week. It goes up $322 to $349.99. Now, that's a very small percentage increase, but I do think it's important to note because overall, these revised dual lands have stabilized, and in some cases have been moving up since the drop they saw following the Magic 30th Anniversary Edition announcement. You're going to see more going up in this video. There were a couple trending down, though, and you're going to see those in one of the shorts I posted this weekend. When it comes to gameplay, of course, they're all highly played in all formats where they're legal. Serra's Sanctum, this is up $336 this week to $288.88. You see this at times in enchantment-heavy commander builds like Sith's Harvest Hand. Pearl Medallion, the one from Commander 2014, goes up $3.45 this week to $30.53. This is found in many mono-white commander builds, and it is in some new decks around Phyrexia All-Be-One cards in the format. A couple of examples include Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines, and Skrelv Defector Might. Next, we have Yawgmoth's Will from Urza Saga. This goes up $3.67 this week to $207.49. You see this in Vintage Esper Tinker and Paradoxical Outcome. It's also in some different commander builds as well. And yep, Leeches is back. It goes up $3.77 this week to $22.60. So this reserve list Homelands card has been hot ever since we started hearing about Phyrexia All-Be-One. And of course, this is a card moving in response to the return of poison counters in the main set and in the Corrupting Influence commander deck. This probably isn't really the best defense against poison counters, but it is a card many are specking on, and I did see at least one commander deck list around Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines running a copy of this. Deflecting Swat, this is up $4.20 this week to $69.45. Very popular commander card used in many different builds there, including Krenko Mob Boss. Savannah from Revised, this one is up $6.23 this week to $356.62. Land Tax. Now, this Battle Bond copy jumping quite a bit. It did dry up online this week. It's up $8.60 to $46.26. This might stabilize back down some when there's more inventory out there. But the other copies of this card generally have been moving up just at a slower pace. It is found in a lot of different commander builds, including Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines again. It also gets play in the pre-modern format, and that format has been impacting card prices more recently. Lion's Eye Diamond. This is up $9.40 to $499.99. Popular legacy card in Doomsday and much more. Vintage, you see this in Oops All Spells. Plus, you see this in a number of various commander builds. Survival of the Fittest from Exodus goes up $9.94 this week to $244.79. This is rebounding after some recent losses, and it is found in several different commander builds, but this is another card that gets a good amount of play in pre-modern. Here's your third revised dual land with Badlands. It's up $11.16 to $427.95. Mox Diamond from Stronghold goes up $13.56 to $639.99. Popular legacy card found in some different lands builds, but it's also showing up now in Naya and Abzan Initiative. I've even seen this recently in Vintage Boros Initiative. Plus it shows up in a variety of commander decks. Here's another revised dual land, Tundra. It is up $14.40 this week to $512.56. And our last card today is a revised dual land. It is Underground Sea. It is up $15 to $765.51. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. Over the course of the weekend, I have been posting some shorts if you're interested to see which cards have been going down in value over the course of the week. All the cards moving down more than $2 are in that series. Until next time, though, hey, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.